Most engine wear doesn't happen while driving. It happens at startup, and almost no one explains this to you. In the first seconds after you start the car, the oil hasn't reached where it needs to be yet. Metal parts are touching dry, and small common mistakes accelerate that wear. They all had the same thing in common. Simple mistakes at startup, repeated every single day. I broke down some of those mistakes. The first one, you're probably doing right now. The last one is responsible for some of the most expensive repairs, because if you get the first seconds wrong, the ending is already decided. At the moment you start the car, and everything begins right there. Over 60% of engine wear happens in the first few seconds after startup. That is right. Most engines do not die from high speeds or long highway trips. They die from the tiny mistakes drivers make every single morning when they turn the key or press that start button. What you do in those first 30 seconds can determine whether your engine lasts 100,000 miles or 500,000 miles, yet most drivers unknowingly abuse their engines without realizing it, setting themselves up for repairs that cost thousands of dollars. In the next 9 minutes, I am going to reveal the 11 most common startup mistakes that silently destroy your engine, and show you how simple habit changes can keep your car running like new for decades. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling me how many miles are on your car right now. Let us start with mistake number 11, revving the engine immediately after start. Many drivers love the sound of their engine roaring to life, especially those with a Ford F-150 or a Dodge Charger. So the first thing they do is stomp on the accelerator. But this is one of the absolute worst things you can do to your engine. When you first start your car, the oil is cold and has not fully circulated through the engine yet. That means all those moving parts, the pistons, valves, and bearings, are rubbing against each other with minimal lubrication. Revving the engine at this exact moment creates extreme friction, and over time, this habit scars cylinder walls and shortens engine life dramatically. Instead, let the car idle smoothly for at least 30 seconds before giving it any gas. Especially if you live in northern states where winter temperatures drop below freezing, the oil needs time to warm up and flow through every critical component. This one simple habit can add years to your engine. Mistake number 10. Ignoring the warning lights during start. We have all seen those dashboard lights flicker on when we start the car. The check engine light, the oil pressure lights, the battery lights. But here's the thing, most drivers do not even glance at them. Big mistake. Those lights are not just decoration on your dashboard. They are a built-in system check that can save you from catastrophic engine failure. When you first turn the key, every warning light should briefly illuminate. This is the car telling you that all systems are being checked. If you ignore them and drive off without paying attention, you might miss an urgent signal like low oil pressure or a failing alternator. Imagine driving with no oil pressure. It takes only a few miles to completely seize the engine, leaving you with a repair bill between $3,000 and $7,000 for an engine rebuild. In heavy city traffic like Los Angeles or New York, where you are constantly stopping and starting, these warning lights can literally save your engine. People who skip this step are gambling with their car's life every single day. Mistake number 9, starting the car with accessories on. Another silent killer that most drivers overlook is leaving your headlights, air conditioning, or sound system on while starting the car. When you turn that key or push that button, your starter motor already draws a massive surge of electricity from the battery. If your lights, radio, and a sea blower are running at the same time, you are putting unnecessary strain on both the battery and alternator. Over time, this weakens the battery faster and stresses electrical components. This habit may not destroy your engine directly, but when your battery fails or your alternator wears out, your engine is left vulnerable to rough starts and misfires that accelerate wear on critical components. A new battery costs between $100 and $200, and an alternator replacement runs from $300 to $600 depending on your vehicle. Always switch off all accessories before turning the ignition. In the hot summers of Texas, Arizona, and Florida, where everyone relies on air conditioning, this mistake is incredibly common. Turn everything off first, then start the engine. Drop a comment right now and tell me which mistake you have been making. And if you are enjoying this video, smash that like button. Mistake number 8. Holding the key in the start position too long. We've all been there. Turning the key a little too long because we were not sure the engine caught. But this tiny mistake can have big consequences for your starter motor and engine. When you hold the key too long, the starter motor keeps grinding against the flywheel. Not only does this damage the starter teeth, but it also shakes the engine violently, putting stress on motor mounts and bearings. Replace a starter once, and you will feel the pain in your wallet. Starter motors cost anywhere from $200 to $800, depending on whether you drive a Honda Civic or a Chevy Silverado. Plus labor costs that can add another $150 to $300. The proper way is simple. Turn the key just until the engine fires, then release immediately. For push-button start cars, which are now standard in most vehicles from 2015 onward, do not keep holding the button down. Just press it once and let the computer system handle everything. This one small habit change can save you from unnecessary repairs and keep your engine starting smoothly for years. Mistake number 7, pressing the gas pedal while studying. Older drivers, especially those who learned to drive in the 70s and 80s, often pump the gas pedal while starting the car because back in the carburetor days it helped prime the engine. But with modern fuel injection systems, which have been standard since the mid-90s, this is completely unnecessary and actually harmful to your engine. Pressing the gas dumps extra fuel into the combustion chamber, creating a mixture that is too rich. This excess fuel washes away the thin protective layer of oil from the cylinder walls. Not only does this cause harder starts, but it also accelerates where inside your engine. In severe cases, it can even flood the engine, leaving you stranded in a parking lot or your driveway. The right way to start a modern car is simple. Keep your foot off the gas pedal, turn the key, or push the button, and let the engine control unit manage everything. Trust the computer. It knows exactly how much fuel the engine needs based on temperature, altitude, and dozens of other factors. With gas prices hovering around $3 to $4 per gallon across most of America, you do not want to waste fuel unnecessarily either. Mistake number 6. Frequent short trips with repeated starts. If you constantly start your car for short drives around the neighborhood, run into the grocery store, picking up the kids from school, or grabbing coffee, you are actually harming your engine more than you realize. Why? Because your engine never reaches proper operating temperature. Modern engines need to reach between 190 and 220 degrees Fahrenheit to operate efficiently. When you only drive for 5 or 10 minutes, moisture and unburned fuel stay trapped inside the oil and exhaust system. Over time, this causes sludge buildup in the engine, rust in the exhaust system, and accelerated oil breakdown. The solution is simple. Combine your errands into longer trips whenever possible, or once in a while take your car on a proper 20 to 30-minute drive on the highway to let everything burn off and fully warm up. If you live in a city where everything is close by, the grocery store, the bank, the post office, your engine stays cold most of the time, try to consolidate trips or take a weekend drive to keep your engine healthy. Now we are getting into the really serious mistakes. Comment below which one surprises you the most. And make sure you are subscribed because you do not want to miss what is coming next. Mistake number 5. Repeatedly cranking the engine when it will not start. We have all been there. You turn the key and the engine does not start. Maybe it is a cold morning, or maybe the car has been sitting for a few days. Instinctively, you keep cranking again and again and again, hoping it will eventually fire up. But this can be extremely harmful to your engine and electrical system. Every crank dumps more unburned fuel into the cylinders, washing away the protective oil film and flooding the spark plugs. It also overheats the starter motor and drains the battery rapidly. A mechanic once told me, if it does not start in 3 tries, you are not fixing it, you are breaking it. This is especially true for older vehicles like the Chevy Silverado, Ford F-150, or even compact cars like the Honda Accord or Toyota Camry that have over 100,000 miles on them. If the engine does not catch after 3 attempts, wait a few minutes to let things settle, or better yet, call a mechanic to diagnose the real problem. Pushing it further just creates more damage and bigger repair bills. Mistake number 4, starting the car with the steering wheel turned fully to one side. This is one of those hidden mistakes that almost nobody talks about, but it can cost you hundreds of dollars over time. When you start your car with the steering wheel cranked all the way to the left or right, you are putting the power steering pump under maximum pressure at the exact moment your engine is at its weakest. This heavy load drags directly on your engine, forcing it to struggle before the oil has even fully circulated through all the components. Over time, this habit can weaken your serpentine belt, wear out your power, steering pump, and even cause premature leaks in hoses and seals. Power steering pump replacement costs between $200 and $500 depending on the vehicle. And serpentine belt issues can leave you stranded on the side of the road. The smarter move is to always start with the steering wheel straight. Then turn it once. The engine is stabilized and is running smoothly. It is a simple adjustment that saves costly repairs down the road. If you live in a city with tight parking, like San Francisco or Boston, where you are constantly parallel parking and leaving the wheel turned, make it a habit to straighten the wheel before you shut off the engine. Now, the top 3 most devastating mistakes. Comment which one shocks you the most. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another video. Mistake number 3, starting with old or thin engine oil. One of the most overlooked startup killers is old, dirty, or low viscosity oil sitting in your engine. When oil loses its thickness and protective properties, it cannot maintain a protective film on metal surfaces. This means that during startup, when oil pressure is building, your pistons, valves, and bearings scrape against each other with almost no protection. Old oil also contains dirt, metal particles, and sludge that act like sandpaper inside the engine, grinding away at precision surfaces. If you keep starting your car with degraded oil, you will notice accelerated wear, noisy startups, and an engine that ages years faster than it should. The fix is easy and inexpensive. Stick to timely oil changes every 3,000 to 5,000 miles for conventional oil, or every 7,000 to 10,000 miles for synthetic oil. Always use the correct viscosity recommended by your manufacturer, whether you use Mobil 1, Pennzoil, Castro, or quality oil is the cheapest insurance you will ever buy for your engine's longevity. An oil change costs between $40 and $100 depending on your vehicle and oil type. Compare that to an engine replacement that runs $3,000 to $7,000. In the intense heat of southern states like Texas, Arizona, and Florida, or the brutal cold of northern states like Minnesota, Michigan, and Montana, engine oil breaks down faster. Do not skip those oil changes. Mistake number 2. Starting the car while in gear. For those who drive manual transmission vehicles, and yes, they still exist in America, especially in sports cars and older trucks, one of the most dangerous mistakes is trying to start the car while it is still in gear. Not only can this cause the car to lurch forward or backward unexpectedly, creating a serious safety hazard in your driveway or a parking lot, but it also puts unnecessary strain on the starter motor and clutch. That sudden jolt forces the engine to fight against the transmission and wheels. Over time, this weakens the clutch plate, damages transmission components, and can even break engine mounts, which costs between $200 and $600 to replace. That is why mechanics and driving instructors always recommend pressing the clutch, pedal fully to the floor when starting a manual transmission vehicle, even if the shifter is in neutral. This one small habit can prevent years of cumulative damage to multiple expensive components. If you drive a Mazda Miata, Subaru, WRX, or Ford Mustang with a manual transmission, this applies to you. Always press that clutch pedal before turning the key. And now, the number 1 most devastating startup mistake. Comment right now, which mistake was the most shocking to you? Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss critical car care advice. Mistake number 1, starting with low battery power. Many drivers do not realize how harmful a weak or dying battery can be for their entire engine system. When your battery is on its last legs, barely holding a charge. The starter motor struggles and strains, forcing the engine to crank slowly and unevenly. These hard, labored starts mean incomplete combustion, raw, unburned fuel getting dumped into the exhaust system and added strain on the starter motor itself. Do this enough times, and you will end up with fouled spark plugs that cost $20 to $40 each to replace, worn out starter motors, and carbon buildup inside the engine that reduces performance and fuel economy. It is not just an electrical issue. A weak battery directly affects engine health and longevity. Most car batteries, whether you buy a Die-Hard Interstate or an Optima brand, last between 3 and 5 years depending on climate and driving habits. In extreme heat or extreme cold, batteries fail faster. Replace your battery before it completely dies, or get it tested and recharged if it is showing signs of weakness, like slow cranking or dimming lights. A new battery costs between $100 and $200. An engine rebuild because of cumulative damage costs $3,000 to $7,000. Dima. It is a no-brainer investment. That is it. The truth is, most people do not destroy their engines with one catastrophic mistake. It is the small daily habits at startup that quietly chip away at the engine's life, year after year, mile after mile. By breaking these bad habits and treating those first few seconds after startup with care and respect, you can easily add years, even decades, to your engine's life and save thousands of dollars in repairs. In America, where we drive more miles per year than almost any other country, averaging over 13,000 miles annually, and where we deal with extreme weather conditions from the desert heat of Nevada, the frozen winters in North Dakota, taking care of your engine at startup is absolutely essential. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share this with anyone who complains about car trouble. Drop a comment telling me which mistake you used to make and whether you're going to change your habits starting today. I read and respond to every single comment. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.